We are down to our last session before we close this 3-day Lannang Symposium 2025. And our main event is our community assembly development of the Lannang Movement. An open forum. It's very open, meaning I believe we will have a little bit of audience participation, possibly. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lannang Sigmund Ban Siy and Wilkinson, Daniel, Wong, Gonzales.
Okay, before that, we need to switch to the PowerPoint first.
Sabi mo, ready ka na mag-start. Sorry guys.
Okay. So, 이동성 감각 참이야. Are you guys happy? Okay. So this is for me one of the most exciting parts of the symposium. For me, it's the meat. It's the essence, the spirit of Lannang Symposium. What do you think, Sig?
Yeah, it's the most important session of the whole event, the Lannang Symposium 2025, because it culminates everything that we have done since day one.
Okay, so to start things off, I think it's a good time for us to summarize everything that we've discussed so far in this symposium. So can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah, so our theme basically is what? Okay, what is the theme? One heritage, many roots. One people, many experiences. 3, one language, many styles. Okay, so what did we do for the symposium? Next slide, please. What are the questions that we asked first? Before we move on to what we did, what are the questions that we asked in the symposium? It's also in your program, okay? Would you like to read them, Sig?
So, here are the 3 key words for this year's symposium. It's sort of like a pun or acronym for Lannang Web. So L for learn, N for nurture, and U for unite. So these 3 keywords are related to our main theme, embracing diversity and building community.
Yes.
So our question is there an authentic or original Lannang heritage? How should we define this authenticity or originality, and who gets to decide? So this question, we ponder on this question based on the 3 days of experiences that we've gone through.
For audience participation, I wonder if anyone can translate this in Lannang way. Ano yung authentic in Lannang way? Kaya ako nga. Translate mo. Oh, kaya mo. Oh, sige, authentic. What is the word for authentic?
Jiazong.
Jiazong. Who here agrees with the word jiazong?
Maybe that's for food.
Okay, alright. So, is there that's jiazong or how about original? How do you translate that? Katiyan. Katiyan. Alright? Ka-original di ba? Okay, so that's one of our questions. What does it actually mean to have Lannang heritage, right? Because everything changes right? Even the word Filipino changed a lot based on our the keynote speech from day one, di ba? Okay. Let's move on to the next slide.
So another question we can ponder about is it justifiable to marginalize Lannang individuals who do not adhere to the traditional or widely accepted customs of the socially dominant groups within the community?
It's a very long question. No? Is it justifiable to marginalize Lannang individuals who did not adhere to the traditional or widely accepted customs of the group. In other words, should we always follow the dominant group when it comes to defining what Lannang or Lannang is? For example, if it's Tuan Tiu, or Tingkang lang Lannang should we always follow it, or do we leave some room, for other groups to enrich the culture, the Lannang culture? Okay, let's move on. Yeah, so this is very important because this discussion, or community assembly, as I like to call it, is about the practicality. Like, so what? After all these discussions, after taking, for example, Marvin Siy's advanced Hokkien, who here took Marvin Siy's advanced Hokkien classes? Only one word to describe it for me. I was looking at it, no sleep. For me, okay. Uplat. What's an uplat? Pressure. Okay, so I digress. Okay, so what practical steps can we as a community take, taking what we've learned from Lannang Symposium, to advance as a community while avoiding internal discrimination? So what do we mean by internal discrimination? Do you want to describe?
I'll try.
There you go. Shiba.
Internal discrimination is, I guess, it's since the word internal is there, so it's like you're kind of insecure. You're kind of insecure because you feel like, from a Lannang perspective, from a kid, Lannang child perspective, I guess, you feel like your Lannang way or your Lannang heritage is not as deep as compared to the others.
Right. So yeah, I don't know who here has heard of the phrase "Huambo Hian." You know what that is? How do you translate that? Parang discriminate mo, diba? Parang Huambo Hian, diba? Something like that. So it's actually the same thing, but it sounds kind of like, yes, I'm Lannang, but I don't want to like whatever language we use. For example, di hala ni Lannang way, di Lannang way kay tama to, di kangkak, di kay boho sa, or di Lannang way kung boho, diba? So parang ano siya, like you're kind of like treating yourself worse, diba? Like it's not you're discriminating against yourself even when you don't really have the grounds to discriminate. You're just doing it because you are socialized by other people to to act like that or think that way. Okay. So let's move on to the next question or next slide.
So,
okay, so next question. Can Lannangness or Lannang be redefined inclusively to accommodate variability? So for those who don't know what variability is, it's basically diversity, right? Do we accommodate people from Emang, or as a lot in the room are, for example, how we draw the line between Lannang and, let's say, for lack of a better term, Tayuka, right? We hear it a lot. But what exactly is this line, right? How do we draw it? Should we be more inclusive, or should we, maintain the boundaries that our forefathers set or have taught us to set, right? So these are some of the questions I want us to think about. I want you to think about these questions, diba? And as for later, what Sig and I will ask you to do is to post hard questions, okay? Some controversial questions that you're too afraid to ask, and we, we're not going to answer it. You guys are going to come here, or mic's going to be brought to you, and you ask it to everyone in this room, this auditorium. That's kind of like the idea. It's going to be a literal open forum. Sig and I's role is basically just to facilitate. We're not going to give our opinion. Well, I might give some of my opinion, but it's really us as a group, okay?
So hence, we encourage all of you to participate. Especially this is the last session.
Last session, yes. Okay, let's move on.
So, again, earlier we saw the keywords learn, nurture, and unite. So these 4 words are, I guess, something that sums up what Lannang Symposium 2025 is all about. So we have discussed about the Lannang identity, Lannang heritage, Lannang way itself, and the Lannang culture. from different perspectives and different demographics.
All right. So what did we do in the Lannang Symposium, right? All right. So let's do a raise of hands again. I'm not sure if everyone here has attended the pre-symposium events. Who here has attended Writing Lannang, the very, very first online event?
Which is hosted by me
And,
and
yes,
sorry, one and only.
All right. How about Lannang stories? Oh, 3, 4 hands. Good. All right. Eating Lannang by Ayat Anderson. Right. Walking Lannang
by
by
Mr.
I love you, who's also in the house.
Please stand up if you're here.
Please stand up. I said. Okay. Gaming Lannang. Okay. So who here attended? All right. So
The host is here. Please show yourself.
Yay! And if you have some pictures, you have some pictures to show what happened. Yeah. No, it's the screen's a little bit too small, so sorry about that. Let's move on to the next slide.
So, yeah, aside from the pre-symposium events, we also had the breakout sessions. So the first day, we had breakout session A, learning Lannang languages conservative style, Lannang with the basic level by Ahia Marvin.
Who's in the house, hopefully.
Where are you, Ahia Marvin?
Not in the house. All right. We also had Tracing Roots, Lannang Ancestries. Who attended this session? Yeah. All right. And Lannang Church Experience, the Catholic version of the preaching in Lannang Movement. All right.
Monsignor Pablo, Father Peter, and Father Ari.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. Let's try to make it a little bit faster because we want to.
And then,
Yeah.
for the second day, we had learning languages conservative style Lannang Web, which is basic to intermediate. Again, headed by Ahia Marvin. And we had Lannang Customs and Practices by Giancarlo Gonzaga, and then the Downtown Lannang School Experience Part 1 by Sir Jeffrey
Laiva, who is no longer with us. No, sorry. Literally, I'm saying in a very literal manner. Okay, language is dynamic. Don't. Okay. Sorry. Yes. Okay. Let's move it.
So on the third day, we had words and spellings in Lannang Web by Ahia Marvin again. Creative Works in Lannang Web, hosted by yours truly. Rauha, Vigo Kim, and Edric D, as well as Young Lannang Spotlight, Lannang Languages Lab, Rhymes and Translation by
Manifesto.
Manifesto.
Here. I think one of our youngest,
Show yourself.
one of the youngest ones here in this auditorium. Yeah. Hey. All right. Okay.
Here,
Picture some pictures.
here's a picture of me teaching how to use Lannang Orthography. And there's the link if those who are interested to watch it again through YouTube.
It's also on YouTube, so if you want to search for, if you missed the session, or you did not attend Marvin C's very intensive class, you can always go to our YouTube, Lannang Archives YouTube channel to access this. I think it was like a 2-hour talk, right? 2-hour workshop.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Then, yeah, so next is another bonus event, pre-symposium event, Lannang Stories, headed by Edric D, who's on the house. And then it was on June 21 in Bahay Chinay as well. Here are some pictures.
Yeah.
Next slide, please. Then the pre-symposium event be Eating Lannang, hosted by Ahia Anderson in Chiang Kai-shek College, and on July 5. here are the pictures. And then, next slide, please. Pre-symposium event si Walking Lannang hosted by Mr. Ivan Bandy, who is here. I'm Binondo first. We have pre-symposium event B. Here are the pictures. It's Gaming Lannang. So it's hosted by Misha Wong.
Right. Speaking about that, right? Who here is familiar with the game Code Names?
Yeah.
Or the card game?
Okay.
Alright, so this is essentially Code Names in Lannang way. And we worked with So Asian Comics and the Lannang Archives and Misha Wong, who was also part of the Lannang Archives, to develop this. So you're going to see, so just stay tuned for updates. We plan to mass produce it for everyone to use. So it's going to be like, it can function as flashcards, it can also function as the actual game. So stay tuned, okay? We're going to announce it. We're going to give more updates in, I don't know, soon, real soon.
And save some money for it. So, for the next few slides, we would show some resources about Lannang preservation and culture. So, first is the Lannang stories. We both have the Ya Special and Anson.
The Anson book, yeah.
These are Tiban.
Yeah.
So these are stories made by yours truly, Wilkinson.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's being sold downstairs.
And also, so for people that keep on asking me, like, will there be more stories, Lannang stories? I say, yes, but please don't let me write it. I don't want to write stories. I want you to write the stories, and we produce it, and we disperse, and we share, we make it enrich our community repertoire. Okay, so if you have any ideas for stories, or if you have the skills to draw storybooks, please approach us, and let's work something out, okay? All right, let's move on to the second.
Next is the book that Dave produced. So it's a 500 plus Philippine Hokkien nouns and edited by me.
Alright, okay, so actually, we were supposed to show this also. Actually, this was shown in the first symposium. If you weren't there, sayang. But hopefully in future symposium, this might get released again. It's a Lannang film by John Peter Chua, who's not here in this auditorium. He's no longer with us as well. This one is, can anyone try to read the characters? It's a really nice, for those who attended the first symposium, it's a really nice, for me I find it's very unique because this whole short film is in Lannang way.
Ah, talaga?
Yeah.
Where can we find it?
Oh, so stay tuned. We're going to tell you there's a viewing. I think if you have enough demand, we can actually help do a kind of symposium, film showing or film viewing. Yeah, because there are a lot of people here who did not attend the first symposium with us, so we might actually do another separate event for that. Stay tuned. Okay.
Next, we also have Ang Dragon sa Kapanganuran by Adrian Love, which is also here, I hope.
Not here. You went ahead.
Somewhere with us. Okay. Someone here with us. Okay, let's move on.
And another film, which is Ngohyo.
Yeah. So this I think is not fully in Lannang, but you can hear some Lannang terms in it. Okay.
Next, we also have Golden Bells by Kurt Saurano.
Alright, let's move on. The next. Sweet. Hello. Alright. We also have the podcast now streaming. So for those who attended day 2, the podcast is basically exploring Chinoy topics or Lannang topics from a very novel perspective. So usually taboo topics. usually not discussed in the community, they actually want to bring that topic to everyone in the community so they can discuss it, and to the point that no one will discuss it anymore. This is very normalized, okay? So if you haven't subscribed, please do so, because that way you will learn more about them and our culture, okay? Let's move on.
So next we also have So Asian Comics, and it's by Mr. Cedric Cheng and Miss Kimberly Max.
All right, okay, so let's give a big round of applause to our event host, Stuart Gunn. Yeah, so I think I'm talking about you should invite him to your wedding or other events as well, diba? Birthday, but they didn't know.
Okay, make no mistake, Stuart Gunn, not Stuart Little. and he can be found in all socials at Host Stuart Gunn.
Alright, let's move on.
Next, we also have the TikTokerists, Ansis, Justin Chuba, Phil Chai Thunder, and Chinoy Partagula.
If you haven't followed them, if you want to brush up on your Hokkien or your Lannang way, or you just want to have a laugh, a quick laugh, please do support them. Yeah, okay, let's move on. Alright, so Lannang Archives has actually started way back in 2017. So we actually have a lot of materials on our YouTube channel already. So if you want to see and listen to how I sounded like in 2017, you can go to our website, go to our YouTube channel, Lannang Archives, where we have some videos like Lannang Learns, but it was an instructional video, set of videos on how to use Lannang with our member, Jennifer Soon. Alright, let's move on. We also feel, there's also for those who are really want to do some more research, get to know a little bit more about Lannang culture. We do have our website, lannangarchives.org, an online library. So if you're interested in some materials that are related somehow to Lannang culture, please feel free to consult our website. And you can also, if you find some materials that are relevant for the website that are not there, please do let us know what resources, and we'll be more than happy to upload them on our website. So that's kind of the goal, to make it more accessible for everyone, okay? All right.
So we also have the audio and text data set for researching Lannang Web. There are links there, and then descriptions of Lannang Web as resources.
Yes, so this is basically for those who want audio files, and I want to know how people who are 96 sound like from Tingkang, right? I want to know how they sound like in the past, right? You can go to this website and it will tell you can download the exact files. You'll unfortunately hear my voice because I'm the one interviewing them, but yes, it's a very rich resource, and you can also do some research if you go to college. For those young students who want to go to college, you can always go to that website and try to get how Lannang sounded back then, right? Okay, and yeah, we should also not forget that we have a very, we're very fortunate that we have one individual who should be here. Is he here?
Yes.
Okay, who? Martin, can you stand up? The most exploited person in these symposiums. I invited him for first sessions. I'm so sorry, but yeah, we do think that Hokkien should be preserved in the community. So please do check out HokkienHub.com.
Or second, Google Filipino-Chinese Dictionary.
Google Filipino-Chinese Dictionary, and you should be able to see something like this. The dictionary is very interesting because it doesn't only include the English translation as well as the Chinese character written. It also has the major romanization systems like Philo and POJ, POT, and also Lannang Orthography. So the system that we've been trying to propose to the community, basically. It's all there in Lannang. So you can check out HokkienHub.com or Filipino-Chinese Dictionary. If you search on Google, you should be able to see something like that. It's still under development, so if you have any suggestions, please flood Marvin C's inbox, okay? Okay.
So next we have the Lannang Lingua by Sigmund Ban Siy, and the link is provided. So you can
It doesn't look like a link, right? Sorry, the formatting got destroyed, but yes. If you search for Lannang, what's the website again? LannangLingua.com. Yes, you should be able to visit this very, I think it was initially conceived by Sandrine, right? Who's here with us as well.
Yeah.
So really trying to create something that is really useful, that could be potentially useful for the communities. I think really something that we should be very happy about, very hopeful for the community. All right, let's move on. All right, there.
Since yesterday, was it?
Yeah.
Yesterday, Lannang Word of the Year was proposed, and some of you, we encourage you all to answer some Google form. Is Isa here? Yes.
Yes,
And Isa was the one who hosted the session with the Jasper Young. So these are the results.
And we will be inviting Isa to announce the results.
Yes.
For the Lannang Word of the Year. Lannang Word of the Year. Right, so, okay, let's move on to the next slide. Move on to the next slide, please. In third place. Go.
Okay, in third place, one of the aunties here, Miss Eleanor C. I remember she's the one who proposed this. Here's the thing, I feel like I might pronounce it wrongly, but I remember it, Sim. So next slide. Okay.
Alright,
Second place. Okay, I'm trying to remember. Hockey. I can't remember who said this, but if you submitted hockey, oh he's here. Yeah, you got second place hockey. And then for first place, this one was actually even before the padlet was put out. This was already like one of the submissions that a lot of people were like saying, which is Ki Hui. Yes. So this is for 2025.
So don't forget to use Ki Hui in your tweets or your reels or whatever, and don't forget to hashtag Lannang 2025. Thank you. Yay! That's our word of the year. Alright, so thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Now we move on to the discussion part, the part where we do not talk and we just sit down and you guys help us talk, or you guys talk on behalf of us, okay?
So the first discussion point is Lannang heritage something fixed that we inherit, or is it something that changes?
Alright, so I want you to kind of like talk with the person next to you, okay? Discuss muna, small group discussion muna tayo, okay? Is it something that we should forget as traditions? We learned from previous talks, right? That maybe some people think that we should, just accept tradition as it is, right? Whatever our parents say is defined as Lannang, we should just accept it without any question. But should that be the case? Okay, so I want you to think about it. I want you to talk with the person next to you. Should Lannang heritage be something fixed that we inherited? Or is it okay to, make those changes? And if we do make those changes, how? To what extent? Right? Okay, so small group discussion muna tayo. Pair discussion. We're going to invite one or two people to come on stage with us. Alright, so volunteers.
Any volunteers?
Apart from, well, let's not prioritize TLA members here. People who are not TLA members or not CAISA members.
Make sure you can join from Filipino Cultural College.
Yes. Let's have one student.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe one student from Cultural College and someone else from the audience. Who hasn't gone to stage yet? You're already going to stage. Yes. So now you can see additional points of our students who come on stage. Anyone? Come on, we still have like what? Yeah. So, siya nga. Okay, come on stage. Siya nga pa. Who else? And one more person. Auntie. Is auntie ka lang? Hindi, nakikinig ka lang eh. Come on stage. Wow, got you. Right, so Symposium original. Laya. Alright, let's take a seat. Find a seat again. Yes, one more person. Alright, chat in. Say go. Right, okay. Let's wait for our Kyong and Lannang tayo. Sige, dito. Alright, so let's hear from our students. Introduce yourself first.
So I'm Jimita from Filipino-Chinese.
Recently graduated. I came here today to watch my sister who was speaking about Lannang rhymes. Yeah.
Yay! Alright, so for you, what do you think is Lannang heritage? And is it something that we should just blindly accept without questioning? Or do we have agency? Do we have control in how we define what Lannang is?
So I'm not good at English, I try to explain it here in Lannang. So for me, our Lannang heritage is like our culture, language, our food. Yes, food. I like it. It's like that, our culture. We need to stay. How do I say that? Can I translate it? Oh my god. It's like, Lannang may makogawa. It's like we need to stay at the 保持原样吧，就是
preserve. You have to keep traditions.
Yes, we need to keep those traditions, but for the changes, like we can combine the other good thing from the other culture, or combine it. How do I say that one? Oh my god.
Like you're picking good things from
Yes,
culture.
picking good things from other culture and combine it with our culture. We can do it.
So basically your stance is that it's okay to change.
But it's okay to change, but yeah, we still need to keep our own tradition.
Anyone from the audience disagree?
Is it possible?
Okay now, anyone, let me make one thing clear. This is a safe space. Anything that is talked about here, let's not judge, okay? Let's make it a very open space. If you have disagreements, especially if you have some ideas, it's fine. We want this to be a place where we can bridge generational gaps, where we can talk regardless of our differences, okay? So please, yes. Okay, we have one person from the audience. Please state your name.
Lori.
Laurie, yes?
Yes, so you said that could combine it to other kind of culture, right? If you're gonna mix it, for example, Lannang culture, right? And then you're gonna mix it with the Western culture. So it's not gonna be, in my opinion, I think it's not gonna be Lannang, diba? Parang pag hinalo mo na siya, may new identity na siya. This is my opinion only.
Very interesting take. Okay. Anyone from the audience or from Cedric, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, so just for some context also, like, I'm a Lannang, I'm 100% Lannang. Sorry. But I can't speak Lannang, like, I can listen to it, but I can't fluently speak. And growing up, I've studied for over 6 years in an international school, so definitely, unlike most people in this room, I'm westernized and I don't practice all the, the Lannang traditions, whether that's in terms of language, food, even holidays. And so I think there's some beauty in it where I'm coming to this Symposium with a completely almost fresh slate, and I'm taking back parts of my identity, but I feel like even now, I can't fully reassemble the old Lannang identity. It's a newer identity because I didn't grow up with this, but I'm reclaiming it now. So yeah, I would say that the Lannang heritage somewhat changes, and that's really what culture is. It's being able to adapt to different circumstances and environments, and again, it's more about the community. So I don't know, it might contradict what the previous person said, but that's my experience, and that's what I think.
What's your opinion?
Hello? So I still stay with my opinion. Somehow change, but we have to keep some parts.
Keep some parts of it. It's okay to change, but we still have to maintain a part of it, right? The good, like you said, the good parts of it. Yeah?
Yeah, I agree with that. Not that we completely change it.
Oh, yeah.
Completely change lahat. Then it's not na
Yeah.
Can we increase the volume a little bit? Thank you. Yeah, so we have another response from the audience from PLA,
I'm
right?
actually going to ask a question. Retaining some parts of it, retaining some parts of it and changing some parts of it. By changing some parts of it, do you mean by simplifying? For people to be able to follow more, should this be passed down to the next generation?
So what is the question again? Sorry.
Like he said, he can retain the good parts and change some parts. So by change, do we simplify certain things for people to be able to adapt to it more or learn it faster than how it would normally take?
For me personally, I think simplify. I don't necessarily simplify. It's more like mixing and matching. It's like a buffet. I only get the like in a buffet, I usually go for the meat first, right? I don't just get everything. I don't simplify meaning I only get bits and pieces for everything. I'm being very strategic about it, right? Like what do I want to get for a culture? At least from this my perspective. I like the conservativeness of the Lannang culture, like this idea that it's something that has been passed on to me. But at the same time, I don't necessarily agree 100% that we should always be changing. We should always learn to treat ourselves as well, especially if we did hard work, right? That's just me though. I want to know what you guys think about this version.
I would like to share some of my insights as well about this question. So earlier there was a talk on traditional versus modern Lannang. So I know and I believe that each of us have our own definition of what Lannang is or how how we define Lannang from different age groups and different generations. So I guess it's more of a regardless of mixing and matching or staying.
Right, yeah.
What's more important is that you know that you're Lannang because you're proud that you are Lannang in this way.
It's also something I've come to learn, come to terms with, right? Like 2 years ago, I was also in the camp of, I'm a very liberal in the sense that for me, Lannang at that time, 2 years ago, it has to be mixed. It has to be something, there has to be some hybridity to it. But as I developed over years, over 2 years, up until the present, when I talk to more people, I start to become more open about this idea that Lannang can also be kapos-yule. Like it can also be that conservative notion. Just because we want to embrace Lannang and make it different doesn't mean that we should let go of our past. That's the whole package. Lannang that's how complex and how rich the Lannang culture is, right? We embrace tradition, we embrace modernity, but we also don't let go of our traditions if we want to.
And roots.
Yeah, our roots. Okay, so in the interest of time, let's move on to the second discussion point. All right. So thank you. What's your name again? Sorry, Jimmy and Sandrine. Thank you so much. So now we move on to the second discussion point, which is: does speaking Lannang well decide if someone is Lannang? Lannang tio ing Lannang huevo. Kasi mo yan Lannang huevo. All right. So again, small group discussion. Let's talk with the people next to each other. Have the person next to you, and then we'll ask for volunteers again. 2 people on stage. Alright, so for this segment, we will be finding 3 people from different generations. Different generations. Today, those who are young, or even young, those who are middle-aged, and those who are not middle-aged. Neither young nor middle-aged. Maybe. Alright, so we have actually Maya to give the context first, okay? Alright.
Wait, I want to know your guess.
Let's call our guest first. Who wants to volunteer as the representative of the young group? Young group.
360.
Someone. Okay, so we have a person at the back. Laya.
Are we asking ages now?
Generation. Alright, so first question I'll ask is, what generation do you identify as? Yeah, let's go on.
Gen Z.
Go.
Oh my God, no,
Auntie.
I'm 24, so very young.
Okay, chatting. So let's have Auntie
Morgan.
I'm older.
We have
Morgan.
someone being voluntold over there.
Okay, but even younger. Okay, line. Come.
We have a millennial model here.
Okay, now the hard part. Middle age.
Sino aamin?
Middle age. I don't know.
Middle age
What's a
ba?
pay?
Parang hindi.
What's a pay? What's a pay? 50 to 60. Season. Yeah. Season pay. What's a pay? What's a pay? Sige. Ay.
Let's go, on. Alright, we have our third guest.
Alright. Now, we have some in order, in chronological order.
Ages!
Okay, so young guest, young, not so young, middle age. Okay, our elders. Let's invite one of our elders to come on stage. Any volunteers? Criteria, nasa pension. Ay, sorry, chika ba? Nasa pension. Uncle Chaco, laya. Okay, so bago na, in chronological order kasi, diba? From youngest to older. The young to younger. Younger. Alright.
Alright, so before they answer, I'd like to give a context also to the question. This question has been asked as early as 40 years ago. So, 40 years ago, the global definition agreed upon by academics, so nerds, is that you are an ethnic Chinese minority. No, so if you speak, read, write, and then you speak, read, write, so language ability. If you go to a Chinese language school, that's second. Third is if you practice Chinese cultures, rituals, traditions. Number 4 is if you self-identify as an ethnic Chinese person. And last is if there is public acceptance that you are an ethnic Chinese person. Okay, so for example, if Oliver insists that he is Chinoy, he has all the other 3 categories, and then we accept that he is Chinoy, then why not? According to paper definition. Over the years, the speak, read, write got lessened and became understand. Okay, after mga 20-25 years, it became at least understand a Chinese language. Not Mandarin, a Chinese language. So any. So Lannang way included, right? And then the go to school, kind of like yes, no is okay. And then the still practice some cultures and traditions. Iffy. Yes, if you go with your ama to the temple, it's still okay. Or maybe if you celebrate Chinese New Year, that's still okay. The last 2, the self-identification and public acceptance, those are the ones that were kind of not movable. So even if you insist but nobody believes you, kind of like that. Those 2 were the ones that stayed put. But the other 3 remain the same, and that's where that question comes in.
Right. So, in our tradition, we always let who will go first, the younger one or the young or younger one go? First. The young. So let's have a name. Kinbin lang. Kay siya, kay takpi mo, sige,
Okay, ako very with the present situation, so parang I keep an open mind. Yung first one, yung number 5, yung acceptance, diba? There's nothing you can do it, right? I'm more on you accepting yourself. The identity part for me is important. Okay? once you identify yourself as a Lannang, I'm sure although some of you can't speak Lannang as of now, I would believe that there's that willingness to learn. So yung 1, 2, 3 can come after, but the identity mo should be established first. Okay, ako, I don't care if you don't think I'm Lannang. As long as I believe that I'm Lannang, that's just the most important thing. Same thing as our sa kaisa, being Chinoy is the same as long I could be holding a Chinese passport, but I identify as a Chinoy. That's good enough.
Right. Yay! Thank you. Move on to Aham or Uncle. Okay, see Mark, Romel, you. Okay?
So, my perspective is, I guess, acceptance mo first. So, parang sabi ni Auntie Mia is, parang how do people believe you if hindi mo ina-accept? And if in-accept mo, how do you prove it? If you cannot answer basic questions. Like I was talking to my seatmate a while ago, na parang, like, tinanong lang, pero hindi mo man lang masagot even basic, sabihin mo lang yung school mo, or what, paano mo improve? Like even if you're out of the country na sa ibang bansa, example, Hong Kong, kinakantonis ko ng tao doon, binamandarin ko na hindi ako na Mandarin please, sabi ko, puto ka. So, anong proof mo kung hindi mo kaya man lang sumagot? Nakausapin, everything is communication, so paano mo improve kung hindi mo man lang magbigay yung sagot in the language that you say you are from that ethnicity. So that's my standard.
So for you, language is very important.
Yes.
Right. So
that's why I'm trying to learn right now then to even Mandarin and Hokkien to parang recall everything.
So your stance is how you cannot say you're Lannang if you cannot speak or have some evidence to show that you are Lannang way.
Yes, even the basics lang. You can start from the basics. You can learn. Maraming things na ngayon. YouTube is there. Before my time, sorry, pero walang YouTube noon. So, matututo ka talaga Chinese sa teacher mo. Photo sa bahay is Hokkien or Lannang. So, pag wala yun, so, anong proof mo? Kahit itsura mo pag ganito, walang maniniwala, I guess.
Alright, so let's see if you have any disagreements from the younger side on the spectrum. Alright.
I disagree that.
Oh, you disagree? Okay.
I disagree that you called me auntie. Kasi asking kasi mo yan.
Alright. And hindi ba yung
Registration fee.
So let's move on to our next, Morgan.
Morgan. Hi. Okay, so I'll try to answer the question first and hopefully it will put everything into perspective. So I am the epitome of a healthcare, a health kong. So for those who don't understand, I understand what people say if they ask me questions, but I cannot respond fluently. But in spite of that, I do the traditions, nag-aali kami, I go to the temple, we have our own store, Divisoria, very stereotypical and everything. And I'm also the former president of the UP Chinese Student Association. And given all of that, does that discount me from being like Lannang just because I cannot speak? The fact that I try to follow the traditions, try to keep my heritage alive, and the fact that I'm also still trying to learn even at my age, does that discount? That shouldn't discount me from being a Lannang. And at the end of the day, it's what I believe in. I believe Lannang ako. And I know there are some people out there like in UP that I've overheard people saying na, yes, I'm Chinese, I'm ethnically Chinese, but I don't believe that I'm Chinese. And okay, that's them. They believe that they're just Filipino through and through. But ako, like, I'm Lannang because I believe I want to be. It's my identity, it's my heritage, it's my ethnicity. And it's not just in the language I speak, but also in the traditions that I follow. So I don't think language should be a precursor to being Lannang. Thank you.
Right, the most awaited member, the youngest member. What say you?
Your turn.
What's your answer? Your turn, yeah.
Hello everyone,
Jessica Wong from Filipino-Chinese College, and my answer for the question is that I think that Lannang can decide if someone is Lannang because there are many aspects of deciding if someone is considered a like if they belong to a group or ethnicity, and as long as they recognize themselves as Lannang, they can be considered as Lannang, and they can, if they are also like they love their culture, they are embracing their culture, and they practice the same tradition as Lannang, they can be considered as Lannang. And like some of my cousins, like the younger ones, they live in China and Hokkien, but they can't speak Lannang, but they are like Lannang people because like in China, most of the younger kids, they are not speaking the dialect anymore. But we still consider them as Lannang because they are practicing the same culture as ours and like the same tradition.
Yeah, I think it's really important to revisit what the term Lannang actually means, right? What does it actually mean? Our people, right? So the our there is very unspecified. What do you mean by our? Is it us or us, right? Like you need to define what that land is, right? Correct? So I do see some points, right? And do you agree, the elders? The younger?
Actually, as I grow older, bale, yung ano ko, may parang yung acceptance for sa youth is parang, sige na pwede na gano'n. But today I see a lot of people who are, the younger people who are interested in Lannang way. Maybe what I can request is, because may maraming tones yung Lannang way, yung Hokkien way ko, please try to learn the tone to speak properly. Yung parang very authentic yung Lannang way natin. Let's not adapt sa English. Madalas ko na naging English accent.
The English share accent. English share accent.
For example, kuha si Lannang, di nanchu sila. You get that? Parang tao ka lang. But this is Lannang. Okay? Yung ano, kasi kanina is about are, nan sila. We are people. It means a different thing. But Lannang, it means it's a community. Ano, yung may identity ko sa the word Lannang. Okay, I think dating hindi ko rin alam na Lannang is unique to us. But when I went to first time I went to Xiamen, to our hometown, I thought magaling ako mag-Lannang way and they don't understand me. Because I was speaking Lannang way, I have maraming makakasing and they don't want that. So I try to learn to speak in Lannang as well as to speak the Minang style, especially if we have guests in the museum from Taiwan.
Yeah, I actually have a question, backtracking to what you just said earlier about the accent, the English accent. I just want to know what the people younger than you have to say about that. Is like an English style, an anglicized Lannang way. Does it count as Lannang way? Do you think it's in like not as good? What are your thoughts on it? Like, should it embrace being part of Lannang way, or should it be? Yeah, we should really go for the straight, the really pure one, the conservative one.
I think even though like they have different accent, I think it's still considered as Lannang way because even in China, because there are many like tone. Can we say that they're like barangays? Yes, and like every barangay, they also have different accents. Like there's no specific accent. Like even in our classroom, like some people are from Xinjiang, some are from like Quanzhou, and sometimes they speak different Lannang.
Right. Okay. So that's another point of contention, right? Where's the scope of Lannang? Is it the Philippine Pacific, or do we include everyone in China, the Sinosphere, basically? Before that, let's have some audience participation. I think Misha has a comment.
So for me, accent shouldn't be a problem. Actually, it's okay to accept a lot of accents, but I think when it comes to grammar and structure, we should be following a bit more traditional. Because for example, with English grammar, it's a lot different, right? We do not have the does or the is in Lannang, I'm sure. So grammar-wise, let's keep it traditional, but accent, I think it's easy to accept anything. So yeah, that's my take.
Right. Any thoughts in the back of the room? I see some hands in the back. No? have lots of comments, okay?
I think we are mistaking accent for pronunciation. That's different. Accent is everything. It's fine. I think that's all our stand. But pronunciation helps us communicate. And you know naman, we all know naman in Chinese, you mispronounce something if it's a different word. And so if we want to communicate, Chenzo Jinjiang accent is different, but the pronunciation is pretty much the same.
Isang joke natin kasi school, di ba? Papa. Papa, si Papa. That's a wrong pronunciation is Papa, si Papa. You got my point. Iba na, parang pinatay mo na lahat mga members ng family niyo. Mama, si Mama.
I don't know, like for me, the learning Lannang is a process, isn't it? For a lot of people, especially in our context, right? Many people no longer have access to Lannang. Some people have even grown distant to that culture, right? Like it could be intentional, it could be not intentional. Like maybe back then in history, their parents left them to someone else, right? And they lost all that heritage. So I think we have to, I don't know, some of this is my perspective, and I want to hear from what the people in the back especially have to say about it. That should we be that, what do you call this, like very strict about, or should we gatekeep the use of Lannang Way? Even if it's accent, even if it's pronunciation, like, people learn. People don't automatically know everything, right? It takes time, it takes access to our ancestors or people proficient in the language in order to be able to do that. So how about the people who do not have access to that, diba? That's just my thoughts. So anyone, I see some hands in the back. Do you have any comments about, okay, shall I? Oh, yeah. Maybe you can comment, sorry.
Like, something I also wanna maybe bring up is the fact that for a lot of Chinois, especially those in their, let's say, 20s, teens, and those in the future, they're going to have less and less access to the more conservative style of Lannang because, well, ever since, a lot of Chinese schools have been prioritizing Mandarin, but at the very least, informally, their teachers could speak Lannang. So Lannang outside the classroom, inside the classroom, Goki. But as these schools get more and more teachers from the mainland, from Taiwan, and as these things become more formalized and more brought into routine, eventually, if there isn't an institutional effort to standardize Lannang, and I'm not saying standardize in the sense of make one specific pronunciation correct, but I mean standardize in the sense of, at the very least, record the variation, however many and whatever variation you want. If there's no recording, then there won't be any access and no way to transmit that to the next generations down the line. Now, there are always going to be new immigrants, so there will always be that source of Lannang vocabulary, unless, of course, people stop speaking Lannang in Fujian province. But that's a political thing, not a linguistic thing. But I think it's also important to state that the variation that we have is in large part a response to the diversity of the types of Chinese that have come over to the Philippines and the upbringings that they have. Like, I don't know if this is just a me thing, but has anyone else noticed that like the richer a Lannang is, the more they sound like they're from Emoy? Emoy? Yeah. Is that just like, probably just me, okay. Like, there are other variations like that, but I would argue that there never was a single unified Lannang way, and that there never will be, but at the very least, we should accept the variation, accept the mess as it is, and just make sure that we have the means to pass it on.
Right, I like that idea. This idea that Lannang Way, there's always a standard Lannang Way. Let's give a round of applause. Yeah. This idea of Lannang Lannang as a standard thing that's everyone has one correct pronunciation, I think needs a little bit more of revisiting, right? You have to consult the history, what are the migration patterns, who is the oldest, but maybe there are some people who are also, who came to the Philippines in parallel with those groups then, and just because they're the minority, the majority doesn't mean that they should be the only correct variant in the, or should be the real Lannang way, right? So we have another comment at the back. Yes?
Hello, talagang sawang-sawa ng kayo sa akin. 지한국의 감운세 난 지금 와까모 우와탕 정말 competent CNC요 to Shermarby and Kasim and Chuck, my alumni. That's why we have this project. It's a learning, continue to learn. At our age, marami pang matutunan natin Kiansi. We attended the advanced Hokkien week. And then you hear Kiao Tiong 학생講喂，咱種嘅有戲也安慰，也歡喜。所以we should well, if you don't know how to speak straight, talk in crooked way. The important thing is we understand you. That's all.
So acceptance for both conservative Lannang way and mixed Lannang way. All right, we have maybe one more response.
Okay, so this will be the last one.
Yeah, last one, and then we have one of our younger people respond to them. Okay, so yeah.
Good afternoon. Just to add, I think we have to redefine the way we look at the language, at the Lannang way. Kasi parang we have this unconscious or subconscious thought that it is dying. I think with the new accent, pronunciation, or even variation that we have, it is a sign that Lannang way is trying to evolve or to survive throughout different times in this modern Chinoy world that we moved in. So I think it's true, we really have to look if we can standardize Lannang way as a guiding principle for everyone, that would be great. And I do agree with the grammar thing and the structure of sentences. But if we look into it, if we see many variations, different accents, like in Batangas, we have Batangas Hokkien. It's more heavy accent and more of like galit or angry. Shout out to my grandma and my mom. But yeah, I think it's if we welcome these variations are not a threat and not a sign that it is dying, but more of Lannang way is trying to survive throughout different perspective or cultural situations that we have. Thank you.
Do you want to respond to them?
Yeah. Okay, so I think this goes for everyone who's for the audience. I think we all agree it's not about being lax, right? We're not trying to let go of things or let go of tradition, but it's a matter of trying to be more inclusive with the learning experience. Because I feel like, I guess I could say for some people that learning Lannang was kind of traumatic, like papagalitan ka, or parang, it's not really an encouraging environment for you to learn. So I'm really happy that in the symposium today, I actually went to the advanced class and I understood almost nothing. I'm so sorry. But thanks to my groupmates, I really tried to understand what was going on. They were telling me the specific words, how to pronounce them. And so with that, I have more hope that hopefully I'll get better in the next couple of years. So maybe in the next Lannang Symposium, I'll be so fluent.
I think that we should not set too high the standard for the Lannang way, because accent doesn't matter. Because I think right now, when I'm speaking English, I also have the Chinese accent, but I still consider the language that I'm speaking now as English. So it should be the same thing for Lannang. Even you have accent, the Lannang way you're speaking is also Lannang.
Yeah. Alright, thank you so much, Candace.
Alright, so now we want new people to come on stage. Okay, I mean, you get the flow, right? So anyone want to volunteer for our next related question? Would standardization was mentioned, right? So the question then becomes, would standardization promote unity, or would it marginalize or make small the natural language differences across families and regions? Alright, so does it encourage unity or will it create more division, in other words? Alright, so anyone want to volunteer for this question? So again, standardization here means, it has two meanings, right? Standardization here could mean picking one variant to learn in school, and we all learned that for communication purposes. That's, I think, the definition here, alright? So should we have one accent for, let's say, if I want to create some textbooks in Lannang, should I use, let's say, Tingkang Lannang or Tingkang accent Lannang to as the kind of like primary instruction or accent for instruction? Or do you think that we should include everything, or at least two of them? Or I don't know. So this is a very important question because we're also thinking about creating textbooks in Lannang in the next 1 to 2 to 3 years. Okay? So anyone, or especially alright. So we want people from different parts of the Philippines to come on stage this time. Alright? So let's have a Manila volunteer. Manila yeah. Okay, alright. So anyone else from Davao, from Zamboanga, from Cebu, from Alright, anyone? Let's have more people from different for representation, alright? We have one, Philip, tama ba? Ilong or Bacolod? Bacolod? Ilong. Alright. We also our camera person. Sige. You're the okay. So we have one person with Lawrence from Davao. We have Philip from Iloilo. What's it called? At least one more. Manila. No, let's find
Zamboanga.
Wala na akong choice ako lang. Okay, maybe someone from Manila, because we should not ignore Manila then. Okay, maybe I have Kevin? Diba? Alright, let's have...
May choice ba ako?
Great. Sokpo lang. Cebu. Visayas region or Visayas speaking regions? Alright. Oh, chance. Please sit down. Alright. I wanted to say, please state the correct from north to south. Alright, never mind. Okay, so, same question, right? Do you think it's alright to standardize a language for purposes of education? And if so, what accent should we choose? Okay, let's start with that. Is it okay to standardize? Do you think the standardization would promote unity or would create more division? Yeah. Anyone from the can respond?
For me, it's a good idea to standardize because variations always exist. If you have just materials for every variation, it's more cost effective to just pick a standard and then just use that. And then people can just follow make variations based on that standard. For example, like in the Philippine language, in Ateneo, we use the Rolando standard. To study in Ateneo, you have to take 12 minutes of Filipino. Their standard is the Rolando standard. But that standard is not used all over the Philippines, but that's what they teach.
Alright, so let's move on to Lawrence.
Okay, I'm from Davao, and personally I also think that even if, yes, as we saw in the first day, and also I think it was kind of a new discovery that, okay, maybe I'm not the only one. Adrian's also kind of weird like me, I guess. So parang, just great. So I think that, I also agree with you, Kevin. Parang, it would be cost effective, right, if we had unified materials. Right? And I also think that, so in that sense, that that's great for deploying and expression of these materials to different regions and everything. Of course, there are some drawbacks in the sense that maybe, say, initially at least, there's always going to be some pushback. But I do think that it's mostly, well, at least in my personal experience, I don't think it's going to be a major problem in the sense that, well, or at least in terms of Davao Lannang Way, and as compared to Manila Lannang Way, it didn't really take very long for me to figure out, oh, okay, so these are some of the different ways that I can pronounce things, but still kind of understand things, right? So I think, well, although of course, just to add a little bit more, I mean, just real quick, I do think it would also be good to have regionalized materials as well. But for the purpose of education, right, just to deploy everything strategically, now we could have a unified form. Later on, we can develop the regionalized stuff. But at home, most of the time, more often than not, if you actually notice the regional variances, then more often than not, it's because you speak it at home already.
Okay, so before I give my comment and you guys give your comments, let's move on to our next discussant.
Speaking on my own experience, I remember when I was younger, I would ask my uncle to teach me how to read and how to read, and then he would pronounce it differently the way my teacher would taught me in school. So I think I would agree with both of them that it would be better standardizing the material of learning the language, and I believe it would be easier. For example, for myself, that I'm trying to relearn the language, it would be easier for me as well, and for all those Lannangs that would like to contribute and to relive the Lannangness in each and every one of us.
Alright, so let's have our last panelist before we open the floor for
something else to.
yeah, sure, go.
But I guess.
Yeah, let's end with first. Yeah, please comment.
I generally agree with what of the previous speakers have said, but I'm going to share from my perspective coming from the furthest side of the Philippines, three things. One, what's the definition of standardization? Who gets to say that it's a standard? When do we say and agree that this is the level of standardization we must apply from top down? And second point is on the goal of standardization. What do we really want at the end of the day, and why we want to standardize them? And lastly, what does standardization look like in the realities of the Philippine language? First, I think the term and definition for standardization calls not just for the definition of making it a unified, because unification always comes at the expense of marginalization of other ethnic, racial, and linguistic nuances. I'm coming from a Chavacano perspective. Most probably, when standardization happens, the Zamboangan Lannang variation would die. And I'm not saying it's okay at the expense of having a more standardized, more common, more intelligible way of communicating with other people here in Lannang Symposium. But at the same time, we also have to address the challenges and realities in the Philippine education system, for example, and the realities of socio-political institutions. Secondly, is the goal of standardization. While we agree that we don't want it to come at the expense of marginalization, we also have to look at the existing grounds, institutions, policies, laws, legislations, and even community building in general we have today. So the last thing I would like to talk about is what would it look like now that I've given you more questions to ponder and more ideas to kickstart where I'm coming from. Because apparently, there's also other like Hokkien standardization techniques, and I agree that there's a lot of literature, academic approach, linguistic ways to approach it to suit it out in a most optimized way. Look at Taiwan, for example. They were able to standardize Taiwanese Hokkien with Tailong. But we also see efforts, massive and millions and billions of budgets coming from the Ministry of Education, forcing and shoving down the effects of creating and unarchiving researches like dictionaries, history books, digitizing oral traditions into codified texts that can be used for cross-referencing. These are all coming in the concept of standardization because people can now actually refer that what you're saying is true, exists, alive, and is actually a validation. So my last question, that to leave more of a nuanced context on why these three things that are important to me matters is, kaya ba natin gawin ito agad-agad, overnight, with so much what we have right now in the context of the Philippines? In the realities when you step out of your Hokkien homes at home, what challenges, benefits, realities do we face as a Hokkien people? And again, we are here to become a community because we have seen more Lannang people now than ever. And this itself is already a very big progress. And I'm really happy to meet a lot of Lannang people because I don't get to see them back in my hometown. Again, Lannang way is not dead. It's starting to get alive again.
Nice. Do you have a comment, Zig? You said you had something to say after.
So, in terms of standardization, especially one thing I noticed, because I've been interested in learning Lannang ever since I was again, I was interested in learning Lannang since I was grade 10, and then I got even more interested during the pandemic because of the free time I had. In any case, I learned because of free time, I learned different styles. I learned different styles from POJ, Tailo, and then I even got exposed to Mandarin Pinyin being used to interpret Lannang Hokkien, even LO. So I guess it's not about yes, standardization is good to a certain extent because it can promote unity, but we also have to consider how would it affect the others who, especially the elder generation who are more accustomed to speaking it only. So I guess coming from my perspective that I've been exposed to all these various romanization, interpretation from our individual perspectives. I guess I could say that where you're more accustomed at, you can use it to interpret Lannang because that's your preference. Yeah. It all boils down to preference, but at the end of the day, these are just interpretations of how we use Lannang, right?
Like it doesn't kind of, there's still the problem, right? Like for me personally, if you want to teach Lannang, some people say that, yes, you can have a standard language, let's have standard Lannang. It'll be very, very cost efficient, like what Lawrence, what Kaya Kevin said, what
Aya Philip said as well. But then, yes, it's cost effective, but then it goes at the expense of other possible varieties. So like yesterday, we had this panel, right, Lannangs across the Philippines, where we asked each and every one, at least Aya Philip and Lawrence, about pronunciations in Davao region in Ilo. And from that session, we found out that there were actually differences in at least the pronunciation or in the accent, if you may. So the question becomes, which accent do we put in the textbook? If we're going to be more cost-effective, sure, let's be cost-effective. But which one are we going to follow? Are we going to follow Manila, Lannang way? Davao, Lannang way? As Sokbu, Lannang way? Which one? Yeah. Right? Like, I want us to think a little bit about it.
Yes. Accent ni Father Ari.
Yeah, but kidding aside, I really want to get people's thoughts. Let's not prioritize DLA people. I want to hear from people in the committee muna. Yes, can someone give the microphone to Aya? So we have two people who are not part of DLA. Yes.
Hello. So.
Please state your name.
Hello. Yes, I'm Darwin. I have a lot of identities. I will now introduce myself as an alumnus of Chiang Kai-shek College. So, fun fact, I don't know if people know, pero itong notion of teaching Hokkien or Lannang way is not new. Actually, in Pyeongchang, in our Surrey kindergarten, actually the Chinese teachers there would teach Hokkien. They use Hokkien to teach the kids. So, I also went through that, whole educational system. So it's actually nothing new. And so one thing I would propose, perhaps, I think this movement is, grounded in the linguistics, academic, efforts and also motivation. But one thing we can do is to actually assess that community, right? That's also a part of our community, right? A lot of those teachers actually are getting old and they're retiring now. So, time is important. We need to, that's also something you can look at is how they actually teach it. If I remember correctly, they don't have textbooks. It's not written. It's really just oral, traditional, oral education lang. You teach the kids. And actually, ako rin, growing up, my mother would teach me. By the way, and my mom would teach me, like 3-4 years old pa ako. Pero yung language ko talaga is red, pula, siya. Like from the start pa lang, it's like yun na talaga, it's integrated. Maybe that's one thing we can look at. And to answer the thing about standardization, maybe we can also look at how that education is being done in Zamboanga, in Cebu, right? There is always something to be found. Imposible naman na wala. So it's good to probably do that assessment. Pero siguro last comment is this thing with marginalization happened to Filipino. Diba? Alam natin yung history about Tagalog, why they use Tagalog, happened to Filipino, and now the efforts to integrate other Philippine languages into our national language, right? So I do agree that there is a balance that we have to do. Make sure na hindi dominated yung Manila Hokkien, but of course we leave it to the experts, no? But yun lang yung answer ko pa. Dapat community-based siya.
I think I saw a hand earlier at the back, was it? Did anyone from the back wanted to comment? From the front, sorry, yes.
I see myself outside the circle.
Yes. Please state your name.
I'm JM, by the way, and I've been studying Chinese with Confucius Institute for several years now. So I don't speak Hokkien. However, my major in my master's is language education. And I see the topics being discussed a while ago really relevant to my major. So talking about standardization, I would like to emphasize the point given by the previous person, by the person who spoke before me, that it's similar to what happened with the Filipino language. That when several politicians in the past who tried to standardize Filipino and to declare it as a national language. So many of our language, because we are a country of languages in the Philippines, 160 plus, not to mention about the dialects. Those are different. Dialects and languages. So languages alone in the Philippines, 160 plus na, and some already died, and some are dying. So kung magkakaroon ng standardized, for example, for that one, it will be too limiting. Similar with what happened to the Philippines. So in terms of number, so the one with the most number would rise, and the others, like what was mentioned a while ago by one in the panel, na it will be the others who speak, like for example, less of it, like the marginalized, hindi sila makikilala. So it's really challenging to standardize something that is growing, and language by its nature is dynamic. So how can you balloon something that keeps on growing? So the challenge in terms of standardization is really challenging. That's just that. Thank you.
Alright. Okay, so I think we can, let's have Diane. Yes, Adi Diane from the back.
Hi.
In the middle, talk a little bit.
Hello, I'm Diane. I'd like to make siguro a couple of suggestions just from hearing everybody talk. One would be like, how would you standardize? So how do you get the top first? So maybe like it would be from surveys. We would have a survey on, okay, what is the majority of the Hokkien speakers in the Philippines? And then from there, get the top one. And then the next three would be, I don't know, maybe it could be a subtext or like no, like in the textbook, it'd be like, there'd be like a script on the top, like A, and then A on the bottom. This is how we say it in Tingkang or Chotsai or whatever. So like, and then it could be something like that. Because it's not all the words naman eh. There's some specific words that are different and not all. And then another would be that, I don't know how we're gonna do it for the same also for the Cebuano and the Davao. We will get what is the regional variation, and also maybe do something of that sort in a different column. I don't know. Yeah, but I appreciate.
Okay, so let's have Xian answer. Marvin C basically comment on this.
So aside from doing Hokkien research, I also have Chinoy friends from Cebu, Davao, Zamboanga, Cagayan de Oro, Dumaguete, Bacolod, Iloilo, Naga, Legazpi, from my other organizations. And I kind of can conclude, also based on the research papers, books that I've read, that majority of the Filipino-Chinese in the Philippines really comes from Tingkang, as in majority. So because my goal is to document Hokkien in the Philippines. So to document Hokkien in the Philippines is not just the Tingkang but also the others. And so based on what I know, majority is Tingkang, and the minority, most of them in northern Western Mindanao, some of them in Visayas, is from the more Amoy variants. And because my goal is to document all of them, I created a system wherein, am I being understood? Yes. Wherein my entire dictionary is mostly based in Tingkang dialect, which is what Philippine Hokkien majority is. And then, well, the more Amoy vocabulary, Amoy pronunciation is also documented within the same dictionary in the most efficient way I can think of. So the question is, how would about standardization? For me, I see what Taiwan is doing in terms of Taiwanese. I don't know if you guys know, but in Taiwan, each small location has its own way of pronouncing Taiwanese. Because the way Hokkien people migrated to Taiwan is from all the different places in that region going to Taiwan. So what they did is there's one general pronunciation, and then it says it's also like this, also like this. And I feel like the same thing could be done here. That our learning material reflects the reality of Hokkien in the Philippines. That the majority will be the majority in our learning materials, but at the same time, the minority will also exist there. So, your question a while ago, you asked question to everyone. What will the accent be? What will the pronunciation be within the learning material? Because even in Metro Manila, in one word, there can be more than one way, two way, three ways of pronouncing the same thing.
But like, where do we draw the line? Who gets to pick the top 3? Why not top 5? Why not top 10? Diba? Parang that's just, sorry?
He said let me choose though.
Sorry, I think there's someone also raising their hand in the back. Like really high. Sorry. Yes.
So, the conclusion of my comment is, to be honest with you, because your romanization is too phonetic. I feel like because it's too phonetic, it's not open to being, para sa ideal is the textbook, there's a spelling there, and then that spelling is open to each person's pronunciation, slight differences. So, yun yung iniisip ko, na parang in learning material, it's a more generic way of writing the language, and then it's up to that person based on their own language sound changes to pronounce whatever's written there. At least that's my take on it.
Alright, thank you. Yes, so we have one more question because we're running out of time. Let's have one more person from Bacolod at the back to comment, and then maybe we can wrap up very briefly, like what, a discussion. Obviously, it's something that cannot be immediately answered within the symposium, and that's the whole part of the symposium, make it an ongoing discussion. But yeah, so let's hear what people have to say at the back before we end this session. Huh? No? Yes.
So yeah, I was raising my hand really high. That's how short people complain. Yung to add to what Arvin said, parang feel ko, yung key parang we need to consider localization as an option to scale up or down depending on the resources available to us. Parang we can start by localizing, parang focusing on like Metro Manila, tapos sabi nga ni Marvin yung we can add there parang okay, this is also how they say it, parang we don't discount variations, tapos we like try and encourage people na okay, variations exist, these are also very valid, equally valid.
Thank you. One thing I've learned as I spent my years researching Lannang, basically, is that it's impossible to please everyone. It's really impossible to please everyone. If you choose to say this, you're inadvertently going to hurt other people as well, right? So I don't know. Like this is, I don't think we have a definite answer for this question, and I think it should stay this way. I want us to go home, discuss with people, to your teachers, to your angkong, ama, right? What is it? How do we actually go about this? How do we address and tackle this problem? Not just in Metro Manila, but also in Davao, in Iloilo, and in Zamboanga, for example, right? So yeah, this is an ongoing discussion, right? So, and I want us to talk, not just this question, actually many questions, but because of the interest of time, I want us to start to wrap up. Think about what Lannang means, what Lannang means, and how we actually how can we actually document it and preserve it and give it for our future generations, right? Which includes topics like standardization, right? How do we standardize? And if we standardize, what variant do we standardize? What do we include in the footnotes, and what do we include in the main text, you know? Okay, so that's just my 2 cents, and I'm pretty sure other people have also their opinions. If you're interested, please come to our community chat. We have TLA community chat where we discuss lots of things.